Hi, everybody. Mark Bryant here with you, the Director of Multimedia Development for the Big South Conference. Proud once again to bring you the lineup for this week's Big South Network streaming events, and we've got a lot for you all over the map in all kinds of sports, championships, conference play. The full gamut is covered right here on the Big South Network, BigSouthSports.com. Big South Network presented by State Farm. So thanks to them for their support, and thanks to you for following all the Big South athletics here, BigSouthSports.com, Big South Network. And let's jump right into it. Let's start, as we typically do this time of year, with football and a pair of games streaming on the Big South Network. We're also going to be on ESPN3.com, ESPN Game Plan, and more. We're all over the place this week, so keep your eyes open for Big South football. Charleston Southern's at Kentucky, things like that. So Coastal Carolina at VMI on ESPN3.com. But here are the games that will be streaming right here on BSN. And it starts with Stony Brook at Presbyterian College. That's a 1 o'clock kick. And we also have Gardner-Webb at Liberty at 3:30. Now, the key behind these games, of course, they involve Stony Brook and Liberty, and they are the teams undefeated in conference play still at this point, and tied for first in the Big South Conference, and just possibly just a couple weeks away from colliding for the title. But we'll see, because these opponents are standing in their way, and Presbyterian is a tough out at home, and Gardner-Webb has certainly plenty of talent on their side. They'll be going into that fantastic newly renovated Williams Stadium. So a couple of good games there to watch for, Big South Network style, this weekend. And again, we may be running those trains toward that collision between Stony Brook and Liberty, but a lot of football to be played between now and then. Let's hop forward to men's soccer, and only one game on the slate. Why? Because it's the end of the regular season, and we'll close it out with Radford at Gardner-Webb. It's a 7 o'clock kick, Friday the 5th. And that, again, is the end of the regular season. You can see the tournament is right around the corner. The championship for men's soccer will be played the 11th through the 14th, High Point University, High Point, North Carolina. So by all means, check that out. Those packages are available right now, and you can follow all the action start to finish on the Big South Network. Speaking of championships, and this is the big one here, Women's Soccer Championship underway right now this very week, and we held off a little. We were going to tell you all about how it was going to start Thursday, but there was bad weather, like all day, lots of bad weather, and discretion being the better part of valor there was pushed back a day. There was a lag day within the tournament, so it allowed for it. So the quarterfinals for the women, all day Friday the 5th, starting 11:30 a.m., Charleston against High Point, 2 o'clock, Winthrop VMI, 4:30, Coastal and Liberty, and 7 o'clock, the host Radford against Gardner-Webb. I'd get into the seedings, but there's not much point. 5 teams tied for first place. Winthrop won the tiebreaker. They sorted it out from there. But you can see just how even these teams are. It should make for a fantastic tournament with lots of great competition. Quarterfinals on Friday, semifinals on Saturday at 4:30 and 7, and then the championship is scheduled for Sunday, 2 p.m., all of that on the Big South Network, and all of that available for order by the day or for the full tournament. Of course, if you already have the Women's Soccer Sport Pass, you already have that championship tournament in your account. So let's skip to volleyball. Liberty and High Point are the leaders here. Then there's a bit of a step down to Asheville and Winthrop as the teams running at the next best. But Liberty and High Point really vying for the lead as we near the end of that season. Let's see what we've got for you on the volleyball schedule. It begins Friday the 5th with High Point at Presbyterian College. That's a 7 o'clock start. Winthrop at Asheville in the Justice Center, also at 7. Saturday we have 3, 2 of them at 2 o'clock. High Point at Gardner-Webb, Charleston Southern at Asheville, and then the nightcap, Liberty at Coastal Carolina. So you see High Point and Liberty both in action here on Saturday. High Point also has Friday. Liberty adds Tuesday, because we skip forward from Saturday to Tuesday, and we can see the Flames in action there. A 7 o'clock start at Radford, just as Asheville will be at 7 o'clock at Gardner-Webb. And Wednesday, we wrap up the week of volleyball with Presbyterian College at Winthrop, 6 o'clock start. Normally you'd say that's it because that's all the fall sports, but oh, we are in that transition time. And let's talk hoops. It's exhibition basketball still for this week. Next week we have regular season and lots of it to discuss. But right now let's look at what we have preseason-wise and streaming on the Big South Network. For the women's side, St. Andrews College at High Point. That's 4 o'clock on Saturday, and at 4:30 North Greenville at Winthrop. Those are part of double headers at those sites, which include men's matches, men's games coming up. You see exhibitions for the men as well. And again, it will be Bridgewater College at High Point, 7 o'clock. Also 7 for UNC Pembroke at Winthrop. And the one remaining men's basketball exhibition on the 8th, that's Monday night 7, Belmont Abbey at Asheville. So all in all, 23 live events this week, and it'll keep on rolling next week as we get into basketball, the finish of volleyball, the tournament for men's soccer, and still more football hitting the gridiron. We are in that time of year where it really goes and goes quickly on the Big South Network. You want to be part of it. How, you say? How do I become a part of it? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You can order by the game, by the sport, by the season, by the year. We have all kinds of packages available to best suit your needs and preferences. If you want, I want all those men's basketball games. You can order that with one order, and you can have every game we stream in the Big South. If you want all the men's and women's games, we can do that for you in one package as well. If you say, well, you know what? I want these men's and women's basketball games, but I know I'm going to want baseball too. I'm going to want something else down the line. The annual pass is there for you, and you get all 700 events we do in a year for throughout the conference, full calendar year from your sign up. So well worth it. Give it a shot, and you'll find out there's a lot of great stuff going on across the Big South Conference. You can find us all at BigSouthSports.com. It's the home of the Big South Network, presented by State Farm, but also the place you can find the links to our other sites and services. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. Become a friend, follow us, like us, all those good things. And you'll also find our Big South Shout blog out there, links to all of the above. If you have any streaming issues, technical issues, billing issues, hopefully you won't encounter any of those problems. But if you do, you want to try our web and streaming hosts at New Lion, 877-967-3267. 877-967-3267, or you can email them, New Lion, that's fan support at New Lion, N-E-U-L-I-O-N, N-E-U-L-I-O-N, fansupport at newlion.com. Be sure to specify billing, tech support, what have you. And sometimes they're able to more address a mass issue if they get it in an email rather than handling individual phone calls. But by all means, you have two ways of communicating with them to try and get everything sorted out. And that takes us through the week. I'm so glad you joined us again. If you want to contact me about any of our online sites and services and just want to share your opinion or have a question, Mark B at BigSouth.org. Thank you so much. I will talk to you next week with another great lineup for the Big South Network.